Fear of snakes and spiders is more common than fears of other animals. They're two of the most common fears in humans, and there's some evidence of snake and spider fears in other animals as well, such as non-human primates. There are some researchers that believe that fear of snakes and spiders is innate in humans, and the evidence for this comes from retrospective reports or asking adults where their fears of snakes and spiders came from, and they can't really recall having learned these fears from experiences, for example. But my own research and the research of others has suggested that it's not quite true that they're innate. So in my own lab, I've never seen evidence of infants and young children, for example, exhibiting fears of snakes and spiders at an early age. So I think it's much more likely that they're learned. The reason why some researchers think that fear of snakes and spiders might be innate is that babies don't necessarily demonstrate a fear of these animals, and children don't, but they do treat them in a way that's different than other animals. So I have a line of research suggesting that children and adults detect the presence of snakes and spiders in an array more quickly than other things. So if you show children and adults a bunch of images of snakes and spiders, and you versus other things like frogs and flowers, and you ask them to find a target really quickly, they tend to find things like snakes and spiders more quickly than other things like frogs and flowers, and even things like cockroaches. But research in my lab where I've actually presented children and adults with a live snake and spider. So I had 18 to 36-month-olds or 1.5 to 3-year-olds come into a lab where I had 4 live animals, one on each wall of the room. So there was a tarantula, a corn snake, a hamster, and a betta fish, and 4 toys in the middle of the room to play with. And I just documented their behaviors, and there was really no evidence at all that these children were afraid of things like snakes and spiders. They were really interested in all of the animals, and equally in the hamster and fish and the snake and the spider. So I haven't seen any behavioral evidence that they're afraid of them. On the contrary, I've seen evidence that kids are pretty interested in them. There are 3 main ways by which we learn fears. One is conditioning, so direct experience. So a snake might bite you and you might learn to be afraid of them, but we think that's unlikely the main source of our fear because most of us haven't been bitten by a snake. And if we've been bitten by a spider, we probably didn't notice till the next day. But there are also 2 indirect pathways, and that's via watching someone else's response. So you might see someone else go like that when they see a snake or spider. So you can learn to be afraid that way, or you can learn by hearing negative verbal information, or having someone tell you that things like snakes and spiders are dangerous. And there's research suggesting that this is a major learning pathway for kids. So they learn a lot of their fears by hearing negative information from parents, from media. If you look at movies, movies like Arachnophobia and Snakes on a Plane, and even before our current media, look at Medusa, look at the serpent in the Garden of Eden. We have a history, humans have a history of depicting these animals as scary and negative. So to me, it's not super surprising that people develop a fear of them.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell for all notifications from radio.com. While you're at it, why don't you check out some of our other great videos.